right, y'all. Welcome back to our Pathways series here on Mirror Readings. I'm Molly, and today we're looking at this pathway from our IQ to our EQ and our Venus sequence. And that's the pathway of challenge that's going to take us between our mental and emotional defenses. The challenge of this pathway is all about balancing our mental and emotional state. We learned in our IQ that our mind can hide our emotions from us. Like our IQ is going to err on the side in a shadow state of not wanting to be vulnerable and just repressing our feelings. But in our EQ, our emotions can totally boil over and hijack the interaction if we're not careful. So this pathway of intelligence, this pathway of challenge is all about how to bring those two into balance. And here's a quick pro tip for navigating this balance. Feelings are not facts. And sometimes when we have to share something with someone that's difficult, it's helpful to frame things that way. Because just because we feel a certain way doesn't mean it's what's true. Our feelings might not have anything to do with what's actually going on. But by presenting it that way, we give the other person that we're communicating with, particularly if we're communicating something difficult, a little bit of wiggle room to not get so immediately triggered by whatever it is that we're bringing up. So I'm just going to read you really quick from the big book here, and this is the Venus sequence book. In our relationships, the gauge of our awakening is our ability to communicate clearly, openly, and with respect. This pathway of challenge that we're talking about right now, it's called the pathway of intelligence, is therefore all about balanced and open communication, which lies at the heart of our ability to relate with others. I know that we always hear it said that communication is the key to any successful relationship, but this pathway, this challenge shows just how difficult it can be. Our ego will tell us all day, every day, to either squash down our feelings or just let them totally boil over. And we have to strike that balance, which starts with communication. And by the way, sometimes relationships ask us to communicate even if we're not ready, even if we're not clear with ourselves of what we want to say. That's why I gave the example earlier of starting with the preface, feelings are not facts. Because sometimes, I don't know about you guys, I need help making sense of my feelings, and having a person who loves me in front of me willing to reflect that back, so helpful. In terms of how these intelligent and emotional defenses play out for us, for me, in my IQ, I have gene key, what is it? It's the shadow of superficiality, the gift of self-assurance. It's gene key 20. Okay, so I have that in my IQ. I have to stabilize in that gift of self-assurance in order for me to stabilize emotionally, meaning I have to become aware of my mental defenses and get those under control before I can regulate myself emotionally. Because just like in my life's work, okay, in my EQ, I have gene key 53. God help me. It's that shadow of immaturity, the gift of expansion, and the city of superabundance. Can't wait to get there. But for me, I have to be self-assured in whatever is happening in the relationship, whatever the interaction is, even if the certainty I'm creating for myself is that I'm comfortable with uncertainty, I still need that self-assurance in order to expand myself beyond immaturity. Because otherwise, I can get emotionally immature really quick. It's actually funny, as I'm filming this video, I found myself starting to get in these defense loops, just having a conversation in my own mind about a relationship I got out of earlier this year, and I'm ready to fucking blast this guy with this text message about this, and did you know, and blah blah blah, and I'm like, whoa dude, we're not even talking anymore. But even just grappling with this pathway, this challenge, I can see where that challenge is still playing out in my own life. And I am stepping back, all right, into self-assurance. I'm reminding myself to be certain, okay, even if the only certainty is that I'm comfortable with uncertainty and I trust the wisdom of the Creator. I have to get my mental house in order so that I can get out of that shadow of immaturity, which is going to hijack my emotions, going to hijack my nervous system, and tell me to start blasting people with vicious, righteous text messages. See, y'all, this is working with the Venus sequence in action. You're watching it happen right now. My heart is cracking open wider and wider, okay? My capacity to give and receive love is expanding right now. All right, so thank you so much for being here to bear witness to this. I'm Molly, you're watching Mirror Readings, and if you'd like to get a Gene Keys reading from me, please get at me. My website's mirrorreadings.com, and all subscribers to this channel save 15% on my offerings.